Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up, grab your phone, and, well, nothing works? For millions of people, a recent morning was exactly like that. It was this bizarre, widespread outage that it turns out all pointed back to a single, kind of hidden cause. So let's get into it and figure out what exactly happened on the day the internet just blanked. So the day kicks off, and it's just confusion. People are trying to do their normal thing, check their smart doorbell, send some money, play a game, and they're just getting errors. It wasn't just one or two services acting up. It felt like a whole cascade of failures across the web, a sure sign that something really fundamental had gone wrong. And when you look at the list of who got hit, it's all over the place. I mean, you're trying to pay a friend back on Venmo, and it's dead. You check your Ring doorbell feed, and it's completely blank. Even McDonald's had issues. Canva, Robinhood. It was this massive, messy digital traffic jam that hit a totally random-seeming group of some of the world's biggest apps. So that is the central mystery, right? What in the world could possibly connect a gaming platform like Roblox, an investment app, and your front doorbell? The answer, it turns out, isn't with the apps themselves. Nope. It's with the invisible foundation that they are all built on. You see, it turns out that most of the internet is kind of just renting space from a handful of huge digital landlords. And when one of those landlords has a bad day, well, every single one of their tenants feels it. And the landlord in this case, it's probably a company that's going to surprise you. That's right, Amazon. And for a lot of people, this is a real head-scratcher. They think, wait, Amazon? The place I buy everything from books to batteries? And yeah, they do that. But they also have this absolutely massive and way more profitable side of the business that most of us never, ever see. A part of their business that is literally powering a huge chunk of the modern internet. And here it is, Amazon Web Services, or AWS for short. Think of it like this. AWS provides the digital land and the power tools that let thousands of other companies build their online businesses. From tiny little startups to giants like McDonald's, they all build their apps and websites on this one single shared foundation. Okay, so now we know the who, but that just brings up the next big question, how? How did one company's problem cause such a massive, cascading digital blackout? Let's actually break down how this whole thing unfolded. The troubles started brewing super early, around 3 in the morning Eastern Time. But it really blew up a few hours later as people all over the country started waking up, reaching for their phones, and realizing something was seriously off. It wasn't until around 7 a.m. that Amazon finally said, okay, we found it and we fixed it, but not before causing about 4 hours of total chaos. So what was the actual technical glitch? Well, Amazon said it was an issue with something called DNS resolution. Now, that sounds super complicated, but the easiest way to think about it is this. DNS is basically the internet's address book. When you type in a website, DNS looks up its real computer-friendly address so it can connect you. On this day, that address book failed, and suddenly the internet couldn't find where anything was supposed to go. And the ripple effect was just enormous. Because that one little address book failed, more than 500 different companies started reporting huge problems. They were all tenants in the same digital building, and the power had just gone out for everyone. And this really shows you the human scale of the whole thing. That one DNS failure led to over 4 million individual reports from users being filed on Down Detector. That is more than double what you'd see on a typical day, which just goes to show how many people's everyday lives were thrown off track. Now, the good news is that the problem was fixed relatively quickly, but even after all the digital lights were switched back on, there were some pretty big questions left hanging in the air. So by mid-morning, companies all across the board, from Roblox to Robinhood, were putting out statements saying, hey, we're back up, things are running again. Amazon had found the fix, and the digital world kind of snapped back to normal. But the why of it all? Still a complete mystery. And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Was this whole thing just a technical accident, a simple glitch in the system, or was it something more deliberate, like a targeted attack? Right now, Amazon has been totally silent on what actually caused the failure, leaving everyone from you and me to their biggest corporate clients to just wonder. And that's really the question that sticks with you long after the services came back online. This whole event was a huge, stark reminder that so many of the separate, different apps that we use every single day, they're all standing on the exact same foundation. It kind of forces us all to ask,
just how much of our digital life is actually relying on the quiet, stable functioning of just one single company.